it took me realizing that, whoa, I took that to a level that I didn't need to, because I have some traumas and some issues and some insecurities that I wasn't dealing with in the healthiest way. So it's not always the best idea to just box it up and to let it be tomorrow's problem. You know, all you're doing is being mean to your future self when you need to be nice to your inner child.
Hey, peeps, you have entered the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast, where I have intentional conversations that raises your awareness, which releases your innate abilities and leads you to purposeful action. You know there's more to life and you're worthy of it, and yet you feel stuck. This is your sign. Unstuck Yourself with me, Crystal Simmons, certified coach, corporate facilitator, and dope human being. I'll be here every week. Will you? Hey peeps, welcome to the Purpose Lane. The Purpose Lane. The Purpose Lane. Yeah. I'm actually like, I have a wee.
Yeah. The Mario Kart. Yeah, man. Absolutely. What a throwback. Solid. But yeah, Purpose Lane.
Yes. Hey, there's Tank. Everybody say hi to Tank.
What's up, Tanky Wakes?
That's Michael's mom's dog.
Yeah, it's time for him to clock out, though.
Oh, no.
Oh, might be. My man's didn't want to go.
Why would he? He want to be a part of the Purpose Lane, too.
That's cool. It's a vibe. Yeah, he's more than welcome to chill. And here he is sitting right next to me. So.
See? And Michael said he could feel energy too. So why wouldn't he want to be a part of this energy? Very smart dog. I love dogs.
Very attuned. Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
So Michael, how's your week been?
It has been rough, bro. It's the first time that I'm realizing that there's a big difference between being busy and being productive. And I've spent a lot of time basically running around in circles thinking I was being productive. But when I sit back, on one hand, I was very intentional about the way that I spent the time and the people that I spent it with. But all things considered, there's some things that I needed to get done that I wanted to get done. Didn't have a chance to. So now I understand.
Gotcha.
Now I understand. So it's been cool. And things are really coming together. And I'm realizing the more that I'm intentional with that time and intentional with my space, the more opportunity for blessings to come. So, yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel apt to share, what does that look like?
Yeah. So it starts off, for example, like I had a really interesting conversation with James, actually, the black. Yeah. Right. And he was like, so like, how are you spending your time? Are you being as frugal with it as you are with your money? I'm like, no, of course not. Because people are so tight-fisted with their time and right? Or with their money and not with their time. So it started with me just like sitting down for an hour a day and just focusing on what I'm trying to do could look like. Focusing on the future, envisioning where it is I want to live, how it is that I want to, what it's going to look like, what all that would entail. And so that it's realistic and it's tangible and it's easier for me to jump from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 and to grow sustainably, as opposed to what I've been doing, which is basically burning myself out and running in circles, which is what I don't want to do. So,
Thanks for sharing that, because you don't even know. So today I actually started writing down what I will want my next job to be. Like, I like working and being full-time and having the benefits, and I like being creative. I like different options and opportunities. And if I could do it all over again, 2019, I would not have quit my job the way I did. So you being the age that you are and having that resource, a dope human of like James Hare, like that is.
Yeah, it's such a blessing. And I appreciate that. I really do, because it's been nice just sitting back and realizing that nothing is really as hard as you make it out to be, so long as you use your tools and your time effectively. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been dope. And I appreciate this for sure, because this definitely has been like starting ground for where I'm growing to. So since working with you, I've had the pleasure of working with 2 other clients. I'm now,
Yay!
yeah. I appreciate it. Stay tuned, stay tuned. I have my own show coming out. I've been more consistent with
Yay!
my radio show. Like things are really starting to come together. So yeah.
Tell me more. Or, well, you let me know if you want to share it now or later. I love to know more, but I also want to respect your time of when you want to release that information as well. So yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Big things soon come. So
Okay.
stay tuned. But I will say I can't say more about at least one of the other shows that I'm working with. And it's one of the homies by the name of Jamie, who is the owner of Foodio out in Ashland. It's a phenomenal restaurant. I would definitely say go check it out. But she's also dropping a show on the power of food and how it brings us all together, and how to use your tools effectively, man. Like whether it be sustainably growing and sourcing, understanding where your food comes from, understanding your money, understanding it's so much. It's such a beautiful show. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Is it out now or is it coming?
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's dope. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
To you and the homie.
Yeah.
That is so important. Like that's another reason why I want to leave Virginia. I want better food.
Yeah. Well, don't sleep because there's some good spots here in Virginia. I'm a foodie.
There are.
So, yeah.
But there are only a few.
Yeah, I was about to say, and I'm sure you've tried most of them.
Yes. Like, don't get it messed up. Like, I have favorite restaurants and I want a plethora. Mm-hmm. I want options.
and you know what? You deserve options.
Yes.
You deserve options.
And I lived here all of my life. Like,
yeah.
And when I travel, especially when I went to California, it was like food every effing where. Like it was good food and it wasn't a lot of processed foods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it was diverse foods too.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll catch a lot of the same things or different spins on the same stuff here. So yeah, I feel you on that one.
Now I'm just hungry. So keep us posted on the podcast that's coming out with your homie Jamie. That's exciting.
We'll do. Absolutely. No, thank you for asking though. Yeah. How have you been? You mentioned earlier that you've been taking some time to figure out what your next move is going to look like. Are you able to share what that is, or?
I mean, some people already know. Like, I work full time at a coaching institute, and there was a layoff, and thankfully, I'm still employed. And this shit was heavy, and it's still kind of eerie and weird. Mm-hmm. And I know because I've been through not layoffs or anything like that, but I've been through something similar where it's rather jarring, mm-hmm. or it kind of shakes you up. And I then will put that experience into a box and then make it the enemy. And I really thoroughly enjoyed my coaching training. I enjoyed my trainers. I enjoyed my peers. I can't even put into words. That experience changed my life and changed the lives of people around me, how I see things, the perspectives. It launched me into being a better, more effective coach. So I like that experience, but then being in the inside on the back end, it is weird. And it's like,
that is weird. And then it also, if I'm not incorrect in saying this, when you put it in that box, it gives you something to fight in spite of. And that is a different type of energy. That's a different type of starting point. Because like fighting in spite of something is different from when you're like chasing a dream, or when you're fighting to make something happen or create something from nothing, Yeah. Oh man, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
It's weird. And that's what it's like this, it's like this fog that is not choking you. Mm-hmm. But you know it's there. And it's like, do I leave? Do I just fan it? Like, I don't know.
Here.
And I was telling Michael about the Jackson Ward Collective with the Community Business Academy. We're the second cohort. And every Wednesday I get so excited. I cannot wait to see my fellow cohort members. And this was week 5 that we just finished. It's a total of 12 weeks. And every week I'm learning more about a couple of individual people or a couple more here. So we're just slowly starting to get each other, make jokes. And it's the people.
Oh, that's so dope. And the network y'all are about to create is about to be elite. Now that's crazy.
And Jackson Ward, they take care of us. Like they really take care of us, and they believe in everyone's goal, and they questioned it. Cool. So it's a safe space for you to be like, this is what I want to do. And they'd be like, all right, cool. We're going to work on this. We're going to work on that. And then you start to feel like, maybe I want to change this up a little bit, or they'll just drop gems and be like, yo, I never even thought about that. Or somebody in your cohort would be like, have you thought about this? And like, shit.
Yeah, the collaboration is key, bro, because it could take things to new heights that you wouldn't even expect. That's so
going back
to
your time. Going back to your time, and like James said, and we might be very tight, and we might budget our money of like, nope, this is my savings, this is from my car, this is for me to travel. But then you just willy-nilly just throwing away your time. Like you just got it to spend and you don't. And I will say that Wednesday, oh, I'm so happy to spend it. So happy to spend it. Like we talked about personal finances, business finances, and those who have been listening to the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast from the beginning, y'all have heard me talk about money for a while. So to go into this space, to be given tools to kind of gently help you, and then other people speak freely and openly about their insecurities or doubts about, like, it is just an incubator of growth and possibility, support, expansion. Like it just keeps going and going. It is,
pun intended, it is priceless. It is priceless because you don't you don't know how much that's going to affect you in the future. And I'm really happy to see, or I'm excited to see what doors that opens up for you.
Yes,
it's really cool. That's dope.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I look forward. I can't wait for you to apply. Whatever business you decide. And that's what's funny. Like some people will come in, like they said, the first cohort, someone will come in with the business idea and they'd be like, do you really want to do that? It sounds like you want to do this. And they said they've had people change their whole trajectory of what they want to do. I mean, that's the place to do it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
don't start a business and get into it. Yeah, like, and be like, this is what I'm doing. I'm standing strong. 10 toes down. 10 toes down.
Only a flop.
Just fall forward.
Yeah, right.
Like, it sounds like you don't even want to do that. Like, so yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. Thank y'all for coming back to our second Purpose Lane. Purpose Lane. I don't know why I keep saying that, but
yeah, I like it. I like it.
So no one asked for this, but we're gonna give it to y'all any motherfucking way.
The streets need it. It's time.
Did you hear Kerry Washington actually said that this was the #1 rated streamed Hulu premiere or something like that?
Wow.
Ever. And I was, I shared it in my story, but I don't know if I can go back to it. But I was like, every person I've been talking to, I was looking at the comments and everybody was saying how they've been sharing it. So I think there was a therapist in the comments said they've been sharing it with their clients. And I was like, hey, I'm a coach and I've been sharing it with my clients.
That's so cool. Yeah, man. I've been watching it with my mom. I put my partner onto it. Like I've been telling my friends about it. It's a really well done show. From top to bottom. The writing's top tier, the soundtrack's top tier. What, Leanne LaHavas and Madison McFerrin in the same soundtrack, same episode? Crazy.
Wow. Yeah. I don't even know the people you just said. You're gonna have to send those to me.
Exactly. But yes, like, I'm listening.
You know what's funny? I told my husband, I was like, yeah, Michael was saying it's a nice soundtrack. And he was like, yo, he's always on the music. He's always down for good sound.
Always. Yeah, man. Because it carries the vibe and it just definitely sets the tone of the scene. Like the first scene that they came in and she was having trouble with. Ooh.
If y'all haven't noticed, if you have not watched Unprisoned, this is a spoiler alert.
Thank you for that disclaimer because the asterisks are out there.
And even though you listen and you haven't watched, you're gonna want to watch anyway. Like I am watching it actually, I finished it. I forgot. Like I got to episode 8, I was like, shit, it's over again.
It's done, right? Where's the season 2? Where is the season 2?
All right, go ahead. Take it back.
There will definitely be clips of the show in it. Hopefully that's legal. But there will definitely be clips, allowable clips that'll definitely set the scene for what we're about to talk about next. I.e., like when she's sitting and she's contemplating the reality of this relationship of a man who's still in a marriage. He's still married. Yeah. Right. And she's looking for love in all of the wrong places. Her picker's broken, and like the song is like, man, and now I'm blanking on the song, but I think it was like Minnie Riperton or something like that. But yeah, it just from the opening credits, it's just a good show.
That's what got me.
Yeah.
So y'all, I'm gonna give you a little quick snippet. I think I was scrolling Instagram and Hulu had a quick video of the show called Unprisoned. And I just watched a couple of clips. And granted, what's her dad's name? Because I don't know his name.
His real name?
Yes, his real name.
Give me a second while I
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I see Carrie. Obviously, everybody knows who Carrie Washington is from Scandal, from Throw It Back, from Say the Last Dance. But I was like, oh, she's on TV and doing like a series. That's cool, because I haven't watched Scandal in years. And the clips are just kind of witty and very intriguing. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, to the point where I didn't even know it was a series. I thought it was a movie. I thought Unprisoned was going to be, but I mean, it's very movie-esque, but.
So sometimes my husband will watch some of my shows with me and he likes them, and sometimes he doesn't. This day he happened to not be at home. It's like, oh, go turn to Hulu and watch what is the show? So I just typed in Carrie name and it said Carrie Washington, and then Unprisoned popped up.
Yep.
Literally started the first episode. And like Michael was saying, I don't know how many minutes in the episode, but the sound, the music, whatever song they played first, I was like, oh, this is about to be dope as shit. Because Shonda Rhimes would do stuff like that, have certain songs and be like, oh shit, throw it back. And luckily my husband walked in maybe 10, 15 minutes in, and like he's creeping. He's like watching. And so me, Crystal, like wanting to be like, oh, I hope he likes the show, but not saying anything. And he finally sits down on the couch. And then her dad says some real shit. We add on to what Michael was saying. She's dating this guy. She's trying to figure out, like, he's already kind of, well, he is married.
But he's playing this whole game, this back and forth game where, like, I love you only when you're not available, and then I don't love you when you want me. It's very weird, but it's very telling because as you go on throughout the shows, every episode is talks about real psychological traumas and terms.
Yes.
Yeah. Like attachment styles and unavailably available and this, that, and the third. The guy's name is Delroy Lindo, by the way. That's the dad's name. And
he plays Edwin, right?
Yes, Edwin Alexander.
And Carrie, it's Paige, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Paige goes to get her husband, her father from prison. And she hasn't seen him in 17 years. So he's noticing she's checking her phone because this
Yep.
Say this white fuck nigga.
Yeah.
Basically is not like messing with her for real. Like her dad literally got out of prison and not like checking up on her, meeting him at all. But her dad comes in with all the real shit. He comes in like just, he ain't the one, Paige. Like he ain't the one. Like she's
you
like,
what?
Yes. So that's what got Devon. Devon was like, yo, that's some real shit though.
Yeah, man.
I was like,
the part where he was like, like, does he lie to you? And she was like, no, of course not. He's like, well, I mean, if he really cared about you, he would lie to you. She says, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, yeah, it does, because he cares about you and about your feelings. If you just decided, he tells you everything.
The best part, like, so I am a woman. I don't think like a man. So I'm sitting there and be like, some fucking bullshit. And Devon was like, he was like, yo, that's facts. I was like, what the fuck is happening? What is happening?
Yeah.
Because when we do love the person we're with, we know certain things. Maybe we did some mistakes, or not even like him, like the fact that he didn't tell his wife that he had a girlfriend is beyond me.
It's crazy, right? No, that's a different level of crazy that I can't necessarily condone. So we won't endorse that on the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast.
Yes.
That's not it. However,
it was weird.
everyone lies. It's impossible not to.
Yes.
And whether it be blatant lies, which are unfortunate, or even lies by omission, it's just this unconscious tendency to avoid certain situations because this person that you care about so much that you want to see happy. You realize that you're in this relationship where you make them the happiest, but you also have the ability to hurt them the most. So rather than another thing that it touched on is the avoidance styles. So like most men are not. That is the avoidance attachment style. So rather than having the hard conversations or saying what's really on our mind, unbiased and unadulterated, we kind of like wait and package it in a different way and this, that, and the third. And that leads to the lying. And so because we care so much, we just rather avoid all that in the first place.
And the crazy part, so in a relationship, I'm like, fuck that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a female that has male friends or would kick it around male friends, I understood it. Like they would tell me the truth, but I wasn't attached to them. So I didn't give a shit. Like they couldn't hurt me. I didn't have that emotional attachment. And the more I, go to therapy, talk about things like this, where I have been told by men that women will say y'all want to know the truth, but then when we tell you, y'all want to hear us. So what the fuck we supposed to do? And I'm like, y'all niggas need to figure that shit out.
You do. And honestly, that part, because as someone who used they used to think like that, right? In many ways still do. So because I'm still growing and still learning to understand, but there's a level of emotional maturity that comes from, look, the truth is the truth, regardless of how much it hurts or how emotional we get in this state. Like, you just gotta let that shit go, bro. Because the more you do to try and hide it or try and sugarcoat it, the worse you're making it. And what is unfortunate is that a lot of men don't like to maintain that safe space. Like it's a two-way street. It would be nice for us to experience our emotions as we are experiencing them, but we don't like the reaction that comes from that. And so because we don't like, and now this is me speaking on my fuckboy phase, but like, because we don't like the water work, so we don't want to find, or like we took it to a level that it didn't necessarily have to be at. Now we're uncomfortable. And so because we're uncomfortable, then we're moving.
Yes. And you know what's funny? Because men think women don't get uncomfortable either. That's what it seems like. Like I've had conversations like, well, it seemed like it's easy for you. And it's like, it is not fucking easy. However, because I know what happens if I don't, not that if we don't have if I push down my emotions, because as a Black woman in the corporate world, I was always viewed just binoculars on, microscope on, what are you doing? Your body language, or it seems like you're doing, it's like, I'm trying to say what I need to say without fucking cussing you out. Yeah. Because I've been holding this shit in. So we tend to do that. We tend to do that in the workplace. So then when we get home, we try to let it out. And I know when my delivery wasn't the best either, of I don't like that. I don't like that. Instead of being like, hey, when you do this, it makes me feel this, or I tend to go here. Is there a compromise? Something like that. But it was more just, I'm just tired. I don't want to do it. And unfortunately, that's what we do as, like you were saying, the people we're closest with that we love, we tend to hurt as well. So
and it's all an effort to not, but it's the unconscious bias to displace, like you don't want to get labeled the angry Black woman at work, but then you get home and although now you are angry and in fact still a Black woman, like
you still Black.
Yeah, like
that is so real. And I have to say this, y'all. Please do not burden your friends or your partner or significant other with your trauma, with your shit. Take that to a professional. Because so often, I know even before I never even thought about therapy. I just didn't. Yeah. And now that it's been said over and over and over again, just take those small steps. Listen back to James' episode.
Absolutely.
He dropped some real gems of how to even process looking for a therapist, please do not burden your family. And not to say you can't express yourself, but also don't look at them like they need to fix you.
Tough. And hold on. Hold on. That's a gem. That's a gem. That's a gem, because you can't fix people. And that's a hard lesson that some people, and i.e. me, it takes longer for us to learn than others. But the others point to that, to push that point further. Acknowledge some of the weird things that you do as weird, as red flags. For all my brothers out there who are afraid of therapy or don't think that it works or blah, 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 I'm here to tell you that it does, because I was doing things like, for example, I would have this conversation with my mom often. Rather than, can you walk the dog? She'll go, are you going to walk the dog? Are you going to X, Y, and Z? Well, if I was going to, I would have done it already, right? If it was that big of a deal, that much of a forethought on your mind, why don't you do it? But if you want me to, I'm more than happy to oblige. Just ask me, can you? And it got to the point where I had an argument with my significant other, because she did the same thing. And I snapped. Are you going to walk the dog? Are you going to walk the dog? Like,
yes.
Yeah, thank you, Wanks. I know I was wrong. I'm sorry. But it took me realizing that, whoa, I took that to a level that I didn't need to, because I have some traumas and some issues and some insecurities that I wasn't dealing with in the healthiest way. So it's not always the best idea to just box it up and to let it be tomorrow's problem. You know, all you're doing is being mean to your future self when you need to be nice to your inner child. So take that shit to therapy and walk with somebody, work through it with somebody. Like, give yourself the opportunity to grow and to get better, instead of just like,
yes.
Your shit. Yeah.
Episode 60 with James Harris.
Like, it's a life-changing episode, man. He is not, really not. Yeah.
I'm so grateful for him being on and allowing other people to hear this Black man who's successful, allowing me to share what he's created, the cheesy dates, the Man Express Yourself journal. Like,
yeah, man. And he's also doing cool stuff for the community as well. Like, he has talks coming out around fatherhood, and, you know, just peep the website. So, but,
yes, Men to T-O Heal.
Heal. Yes, sir.
So,
but
we're sharing a lot. I wanted to go back, since you had mentioned this. In episode 1, she mentioned, which I was like, yo, run that shit back. All right, take that out, but do the sound effect.
I got you.
She said parent and partner are just one letter off, and how you get parented is how you get partnered.
Rewind, my selector. Run that back. One more.
Lakewood means rewind. The gunshot means forward. You requested it, so we rewind.
Parent and partner are just one letter off, and how you get parented is how you get partner.
That is so true. That is well, look, because I think it was either further in the episode or maybe a different episode where they were talking about their love styles and how when in a cis-hetero relationship.
Before you, sorry. I wrote down the song when she was about to text Bill is Saturday Love.
Thank you.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yes. When I think of you. That's right. What a vibe. I'm telling you, I need to look it up now. Whoever the producer was for the soundtrack for Unprisoned put their foot in it between the song selection and the original pieces that they created. Yeah, but I agree.
So I must have thought that was dope because I wrote that down. I think that's the only song I wrote down. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, I'll put you onto some other ones, like Please Don't Make Me Cry by Leanne LaHavis. It's an elite song.
When was that played? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. That one and Madison McFerrin, they played I think 1 or 2 songs by her as well. But...
Well, while Michael's looking up the producer, I wanted to attach what we were saying before I started breaking out to song, and then we started doing
karaoke.
The electric slide.
Yeah.
She said, maybe this shit isn't happening to you, but it's happening for you. Sometimes you have to say yes to get a healing.
Yes. Oh, and so yeah, before we went down our karaoke rabbit hole, it was like in cis hetero relationships, sometimes like when we're looking for our partner, we find our parent, and women become more motherly, and men are looking for their mothers. It's kind of crazy how that happens. I think I'm butchering that a little bit, but
well, so it makes sense to me. Like my ex was verbally abusive, and it wasn't bad. Well, I'm gonna say there's levels to it, all right? And he had said something that was real effed up, and he wasn't verbally abusive all the time, but he would say things like, I don't know what this is, instead of like being very insecure, where he'd be like, you're gonna wear that? Oh, that's a little bit tight. That's blah, blah, blah. My dad does that.
Interesting.
Or would do that to my mom. So I remember so people, if y'all have listened, I think I shared it on a podcast where I've had eye surgery. I had retinal detachment, glaucoma surgery, like cataracts. I had that removed. I had a lot going on. So I had to withdraw from school for a while. And I was out, and I remember I wanted to go to the movies, and I asked my then boyfriend to take me to the movies. And he was driving his parents' car. I think we were like 16, 17. He's like, I don't know if I'm gonna get the car this weekend, and blah, blah. I'm like, if your parents know, first of all, they know me. Just tell them you're taking me out because I can't drive. I've been locked up in this fucking house. And he wouldn't. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? So we ended up getting in an argument or something. He said something sideways about my eye, and I was like, you know what? I am not marrying my dad.
That's wicked.
My best friend John, love you, John. He was like, yo, if I see that nigga on site, it's over. I was like, John, you have a family. Stop it.
But no, that part, I respect John's energy. Run up and get done up, because that's not fun.
And me and John, we ride all the way to 10th grade. So I talked to him the other day. He was like, yo, I told you that. And John's not even that dude. John is chill. He's cool. Everybody loves John. But no, I was like, oh, we still own it. All right. Well,
yeah, that's interesting though. But to see that is the way that your pops did your mom, and it was something that it was comfortable to, like we were talking about earlier, like kind of with hoarding. You walk into the room and you see all these things in there so much that you feel like it's normal, like it's attached to the room, that all of these things come with a relationship that is supposed to be emotionally abusive or manipulative. Or, I mean, we let jokes fly for the sake of the joke, but if you're doing that in an argument and you're doing that to be mean and to be spiteful, that's a different type of energy.
Oh, and I felt the energy. And again, it wasn't all the time, but when that happened, I was like, And I remember telling my mom, I was like, why am I with him? Like, man. I'm not married. I don't have kids. And now that I'm older and I am married, even though I don't have kids, that's still not an excuse to stay in a situation.
No, yeah.
But being that young, I was like, why am I staying? And God bless her. Like, thank God I listened to my intuition. I was like, no, I'm out. Yeah. And I've always been hard on myself for thinking, like, sometimes I don't do things. Is Tank just farting?
No, he's saying not to be so hard on yourself because you're growing. It's a journey. It's
like, oh, poor thing. No, it's I can't, like, looking back, I've always been kind of beating to my own drum and doing whatever the fuck I want. Even though my mom was like, I think she was very worried about me because she might have seen me be so vulnerable because I just had eye surgery. One of my eyes were smaller than the other. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm single, ready to mingle. Meaning I just wanted to be free. Like, yeah. And she was like, what are you saying that for? Why are you? I'm like, I'm not going to repeat what you're doing. I'm not married to him. I don't have no kids. And I'm like 18, 19. Like, I think I was like 18, 19. And it was so odd to me that she wasn't supportive in me doing that. And we've had real conversation. I never asked her why, but I probably will now. But I do know she's proud of all of me and my sisters for the men that we did choose. Because when I first met Devon, he wasn't like that. Literally, Michael, I was like, oh, he doesn't love me. He's not insecure. He's not overly protective. He don't get mad if other dudes look at me. Wow. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah, right.
And literally one of my friends, I told her, I was like, yeah, so I don't think he like me like my ex do. And I was like, yo, what the fuck did I just say?
Yeah.
I literally had the awareness in the moment. I was like, that's wow.
No, that's tough. I respect the awareness because that's quite an epiphany.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is weird. He's not toxic. I miss my toxicity. All right, hold on. Can you give me 1 second? Tanky Wanks is he's getting a little antsy. To death. And I know he just wants to play, but now is not the time nor the place, buddy. Wait a second.
He's like, I want to play.
Got an attitude. That will not help, Tank. But that's thank you for sharing first and foremost. Mm-hmm. But secondly, it speaks to another point that that Edwin or Delroy spoke about in the show. He's like, do you want to be right or do you want to be free? Yeah. And I love that line. I love that line so much because who's to say what's right and wrong, but intuition will definitely show you what is right. History will show you what is right. And the more you lean into that, the more you will become free. You'll become unprisoned. And I think that was the beautiful part of the whole show. Cause like I was watching it with my mom, same thing that your husband was doing, you know, kind of like creeping over the shoulder. And at the end of one of the episodes, she noticed how Kerry Washington was like never happy. She was like, why is she so miserable? Come
on, awareness.
Right? And it was because you just watched this character blossom from episode 1 to episode 8, and she's having the same type of epiphanies that you had, which is why it's so cool. It speaks to the human experience. It's very relatable. But I say all that to say that, yeah, you have to have those epiphanies and have that awareness in that moment to realize, like, whoa, what is normal? Is this normal?
That part.
And do I want this quote unquote normalcy to fit in my narrative? You know, because sometimes normie shit isn't always the best.
That is what I've always being little Crystal. When people are like, you're not normal. That's not normal. Like, who said what is normal?
Right.
Who said it? Like, where does the word normal come from? And so for some people I know, normal is not being married. For some people I know, normal is having sex at a very early age, like 10 years old. Normal is waiting to have sex until you're married. And it's like, what feels right for you?
For you, right.
Not
right.
your family.
Yeah.
Not your friends. For you. Because even in my friends group, we're all different.
Mm-hmm. And yet, normal people, like doing extraordinary things. Yo, just dealing with extraordinary situations, but normal. I think people have gotten it confused and twisted. Like normal means that everybody's doing it, you know? Like it's the conventional cool, which it's fine. But there's a lot of things that are normal that I actually find to be kind of shit. That's just my hot take.
Let's talk about it. What do we think normal? Some of the normal shit is shit.
Ooh, are we ready for Michael's hot takes on this this episode of Unpurposed Lane? Purpose Lane? Let's see. Well, we're gonna have to be specific because I have interesting hot takes. Like I have a hot take on football. Not the biggest fan.
Me neither.
Not for long is what it stands for. Like you doing all this stuff to jar people mind and memory. Sending them home.
That part.
They have no money, nothing to show for it. And they go up and they strangle their girlfriends and murder people. Like, come on, bro. Like, and there are other gladiatorial and barbaric sports, you know, hockey, rugby, where you can see the league takes care of their people, you know? And like,
I did not know that.
Yeah. Because like there's science behind the hockey pads, you know? Like you don't have to get jarred up the way that you get jarred up in football. They just really don't care. They just really don't care. But I digress.
That's actually a good one.
For me, I guess in the context of this show and this scenario, let's see. The idea
Why you ponder? Go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say the idea that you should wait till you're married before you start living with somebody. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Because you have no idea. You should definitely live with that person before y'all get married. because you'll move in and then you realize they weren't doing their laundry, their mom was doing the laundry the whole time.
Ooh, come
right?
on.
Or this person is disgusting, don't even like to clean dishes, like, and the only thing they make is chicken parmesan, and that's it. Like, you know,
the normal thing is for me that you don't talk about certain things, which is
like
dumb
what?
as shit.
Yeah,
Sex preference,
yeah,
cleaning, cooking, working, debt, money, religion. Like if you're in a
yeah.
partnership, there's so much that is not discussed until later. It's like, oh, I didn't know this is how they wanted to parent the child. What the fuck?
You should have known that.
About? What are you
Yo,
talking about?
that's funny. Yeah, I agree. No, that's crazy. Actually, that's crazy. I appreciate.
Like,
Yeah.
Again, it's because we go into like, okay, I met this person, and now we're gonna get married, then maybe have kids, and then get married, whatever the order goes in. However, you're literally just checking the box and not even going back to, like, I'm thankful for our marriage. What do they call it? Premarital counseling that we completed, because
That's cool.
if we didn't do it, we would not have started the conversation of me actually saying, like, I told my husband this, like, I don't want to be like my parents. I love them to death, but their relationship is from another generation of just, you stick it out. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want us to talk about certain things. I don't want to, I just didn't want to do it.
I
It
respect
was,
that. And
and
also having
him,
an unbiased third party to help y'all work through those things too. Yeah,
and
no,
it's
that's tough.
funny, Michael, she was like, because you're aware of it, that actually will help to prevent you from actually doing it. And I didn't believe her. And how funny is that? I was like, awareness? How? How is that going to stop me? And
No,
it
but
really has helped me to say and speak more if there's something that is on my mind. And like you said, sometimes we don't want to hurt the person we're with. So we'll kind of be like, all right, let me just sit this out for a little bit and just ponder on it. Like, is this really how I feel? And second guessing, or just be like, yeah, it's still there. So I'm gonna talk about it. Like,
yeah. But there is power in waiting, because there are some times where, especially coming from a standpoint where my emotional ADT system was wrong or off, or I didn't change the battery system, so it's always going beep. And I was just ignoring the beeps because I thought the beeps were normal, but apparently they're not. I'm gonna have to edit those.
Funny. It's so funny though. My emotional ADT, why can't I say word?
Yeah,
Yes, like that is funny.
But yeah,
ADT.
and if you're ignoring it, sometimes it's okay to hit the snooze button, because sometimes those emotional, like the first experience or the first response may not be the healthiest or the most logical.
Effective.
The most effective. Thank you.
Yes.
In that moment. So it is important. But if it sticks around long enough for you to have to bring it back up, then that's when you know. Because I had been good at like, it popped up. We'll deal with it later. And it popped up again. Now's not the right time. We'll deal with it later. Yeah.
No, that's real. And I know there are people who are listening that has the beat that's going off. And all I want to say is there's nothing wrong with you. That means your ticker is working. And now it's just waiting for you to just change the battery when you're ready.
And to acknowledge it. And sometimes it might be on fire. You might be burning.
That's true.
And it is time to do something different, to seek help. It's time to address the problem. It's time to do something different, man.
Yeah. And I wanted to, because you said that, I know people might not understand this if they haven't gone through it, or maybe their awareness to that they have experienced it and they've just forgotten. When you seek help, it's not this, it doesn't have to be this big ordeal of you open up your front window and just shouting with like a horn, like, I need help. Like, it's literally maybe messaging somebody, emailing somebody, calling, texting. Me and Devon have had friends that reach out to us, maybe individually or separately, of asking us how couples therapy is.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, how'd you find out?
Yeah,
because like,
but it shows.
And we're okay with talking about it. However,
Mm-hmm.
like if you've been wondering, yeah,
Speak it,
right.
yeah. I agree. And that actually is a really good segue into the point that I would like to bring up, which is if you have the thought, then chances are you probably should. For example, like people think all the time, oh, maybe I should cut out smoking. Yeah, you're probably reaching the point where your body's like, let's say something about this. We should probably cut this out. And so what it looks like to need help doesn't have to be like rock bottom is different for everybody. You know,
Yes.
you could be locked up. You could have some things that have gone significantly left. You could just be acting out in ways that don't feel like you. But rather than being like, oh, it's not me, this just for today, you know, I'm moving on to the next thing. Sometimes you do have to like sit and look at those things holistically over a period of time. Is it a pattern? Is it a personality trait? Or is it something that's deleterious, that's negatively affecting your life? In which case, then I suggest, you know,
yes.
Get help.
And what you're basically saying is get curious. If the thought comes, keep questioning like, oh yeah, when do I actually partake in this activity?
Right.
Is it when I'm at my lowest, or I'm stressed out, or I'm overwhelmed? Do I just
am I using it to cope, or am I using it to celebrate? Yeah.
Because that's all right, let's be honest. Like alcohol for me has always been something that, bring it all the way back, is normal, right? And I've always questioned alcohol. I'm like, but I don't care too much for it. Like my girls were like, let's go to happy hour. I'm like, yes, let's get half off appetizers. I'm ready to eat. I like eating. And they're like, look at the drinks. I'm like, fuck the drinks. I don't.
Did you see these chicken tenders? These wings?
Lettuce wraps, egg rolls,
the artichoke dip?
Yes, like all of that. Like it was always food for me. And I will say I felt like I wasn't completely normal because I didn't care about the drink. I would get it just to fit in, but I wasn't forcing myself. I would drink it, but I would have like mad appetizers and take the appetizers home. And the people be like, do you want another drink? No.
Yeah.
I got one. I'm good. Okay. And so I did over the years start drinking to hang out with friends and my husband. And then I know a couple years ago, I told him, I was like, yo, I'm done. Like, I do this for other people. I never really gave a shit about it. And I don't want to do it. I don't like what I feel afterwards. It's just like I'm wasting my time. Like you were saying earlier, it's like, so I go out that night, now I'm hungover the next day, I feel sick, I'm off, and then I kind of lose half that day. And it's like, why? So shout out to edibles.
Well, I will say if we are opening up, because I had the same thought. I was like, bro, people be out here like really drinking, and you could drink too much and not wake up type thing, you know? But smoking, we're here. But I took that to the extreme, to the point where smoking became like a personality trait for me. My friends knew that they could come to me because, you know, my Lane always got it, you know, like if you hanging out with me, of course we're going to get high. I used to be high all the time, just like functioning, just running. And it wasn't until I realized that I had ran myself ragged and that I had done it too much, that too much of a good thing can actually be a bad thing, and that I needed a break long enough to know the difference.
That part.
Yeah.
Not long enough. You need, so that is the biggest, because I was gonna say, how do you know you're doing it too much? How can anybody know you're doing anything too much?
Yeah, it'll show. It will definitely show. And you'll have to be very attuned and understanding and trusting of when people say certain things to you. It's not, sometimes it can be for a wicked reason, but like if these are people in your corner, if these are consistent people that you trust, that are like, hey, I noticed that you do X, Y, and Z, or like, dog, your skin looks fucking terrible. Like, what are you doing? Which was my case in point. I went to the gas station one time. I was at a gas station one time and I pulled out my ID and I handed it to bro. And he looks at the ID and then he looks back up at me. He's like, this isn't you. And I'm like, I promise you it is. But at this point, I was at like the height of my smoking. And so my anxiety was crazy. My eczema was crazy. It was just nuts. And because I was using smoking to cope, it just got so out of hand that I didn't even notice the subtle changes in my body, my face. And so I was so afraid of just abstinence. So I was like, oh, bro, I'm gonna have to be sober. That sucks. That bites. Like I was so afraid of it. And I was trying to develop the difference between abstinence versus moderation. And that comes with, yeah. But I had to give myself that break. I had to physically start going to meetings. I needed to do the work to understand why I was doing what I was doing, because up until that point, shit was gravy. You know, I was doing it to get by, and I was getting by, but at what cost, you know, and at what quality of life? So say that all to say that there are many of means to get help. There are many of warning signs that present themselves. And if you want to live the best life that you can to the fullest of the experience that life truly is, experience all of it in its beauty, highs and the lows, sometimes you need a little help to do that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because that shit is real. Like, I was talking to Amanda on the last episode where we went through her ELI assessment and about raising that awareness. And I use the analogy, like when you start working out, you're doing it for a while. Your clothes are fitting differently, but you still like, I don't see it. But then somebody sees you and be like, yo, you lost so much weight. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How come I don't see it?
Yeah.
I don't see it. Or if you go to your grandparents' house, they're like, oh, you put on some weight. You're like, thanks, Grandpa. Love you. Fuck. Like,
yeah. Because
we don't see it because we're in it. It sounds.
Remove your face from the glass sometimes. Sometimes you're so close to it that you're not able to see it from for its fullest view, man. Too close.
I'm gonna take a picture of myself close to the mirror.
yeah.
Because that is so real. That's the analogy. That is what it is. Like you're just doing shit, and people can kind of sit back and be like, what the fuck are they doing? Or I could tell when my husband's stressed. I could tell when he's like nervous or excited about like a comedy show or something like that. He can tell when I'm nervous if I have a speaking engagement, or we just know. And so we might say to each other, like, oh, you feeling nervous? No, I'm nervous.
Yeah, but look, you jumping.
Like, oh shit, I am nervous.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, that's so good. That is so real.
Yeah, man. But like I said, that I appreciate you for seeing that, because your people see you, and when you're so close to it, sometimes it's hard to see yourself. So when people see you and they're saying things to you, and especially if these are people that you trust and it's coming from good intent, you always got to question the point of view from the stuff that people be saying, right?
Well, I will put a little
asterisk,
like an asterisk on there, that if it makes you feel confident, like let's say some random person from 10 years ago you went to school with, be like, yo, you glowing, take that shit.
Yeah, don't take that. And fuck all that. I'm trying to get like you shit. No, stand on it. Stand on it. Damn, glowing. You see it. You see it.
Oh, I love that. Because I told somebody in my cohort, we were telling some, I'm not gonna remember it. And they was like, man, I was like, you gonna take this compliment? They was like, yes. The episode I was on with Cortland and Kia. I was on their Fearless Narrative episode a couple months ago, but it came out this week. And I was like, all right, Cortland, your skin glowing. And she was like, it's all right. Like, it's because of the sun. I was like, if you don't take this compliment, it was our IG Live. That's what it was. And then Kia was like, you better take. And then one of her homies in the comments, like, it is glowing. Accept that compliment.
Yeah. That part.
We do that so often. Like, if you don't take nothing else from this episode, please accept compliments. Please accept people seeing you shine. Even if you've been through some shit, maybe your energy or your soul is coming through. Accept that shit. Like,
accept it. Indeed. Indeed, yeah, because the genuine people, it's not gonna come for nothing. You know what I mean? They're gonna say that for a reason. You absolutely saw and noticed her skin was gleaming like the sun.
Yes,
and it was.
And some people be like, "How do I accept it, Crystal?" Say, "Thank you," and that's it. Stop.
Yeah.
Don't keep. Don't pass go. Stop. Thank you. Practice with me.
Thank you,
Michael. You have a great smile.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know you see it. Get like me, boy. No.
I love it. No, you want talking shit. Like,
no.
Oh man, this has been awesome. All right, we're gonna be on here all night long, all night.
Oh no! By the way, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That's who did the scoring for Hulu's Unprisoned. Yeah.
How old are they?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I feel like they've been doing it forever. That is, that made my heart like, I got a little teary because I love hearing things like that. Like they still continue to create, and we all can continue to do whatever the fuck we want to do, no matter what age. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Right. And it's a love. Oh, it's so timeless. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. What else did they do? Oh, look, I'm on their Wikipedia now. We're about to go on a whole deep dive.
Yeah, we are. I was like, oh, we're gonna lose Michael. He gone.
Yeah. No, this is cool though. Well, stay tuned. Y'all
see what he did? He still didn't answer my mother effing question.
Which
How
was
old
what?
are they?
Oh, my bad. Hold on.
They're pretty young. They're only 63 and 66.
Yep.
They must have been getting it. How old were they when they first started? They have enjoyed great success since the 1980s. So I'm just going to go 1980, right?
Yep.
They were born in 1959 and 56, Michael.
Yeah.
So they were like 21 and like 25.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Crazy. Janet Jackson, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh my God.
No, this is tough.
That is the best way to end
it. The SOS band. Jesus, Cheryl Lynn. They have a discography.
It's like on, like it is tingling. Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Cool. Damon Wayans, Stacey Dash, and Marlon Wayans. They did Mo Money, the soundtrack for Mo Money.
Oh, I love that movie.
They work with Mint Condition, Sounds of Blackness, Lionel Richie, Usher, George Michael.
Usher.
Watch this. The Human League New Edition, Gwen Stefani. Yeah.
That's my shit. When a girl's talking shit like that, time been around that block. I actually listened to that song today.
Yes, bro. That's on my Go Time playlist. I start the day with that, Joe. Yo, Earth, Wind, and Fire. They produced the.
No, we lost Michael. Okay, guys.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad.
So thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in, peeps. Until next time.
Thanks, Michael, for another Purpose Lane. So we'll wrap up, and remember, stuck moments appear when awareness is feared. Instead, unstuck yourself here. Fly free, peeps.